प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करेंगे और पहले मैं आप लोगों को प्रॉब्लम समझा देता हूँ।
आंटी सीढ़ियों से चलते चलते अचानक गिर गई, पूरे मुंह से झाग निकल रहा।
हेलो एम्बुलेंस, जल्दी लालपुर जाइए, इमरजेंसी है।
क्या झाग? कहाँ? उठ गया, वो भी उस 2 कौड़ी की औरत के लिए। मैंने बस बहाना चाहिए।
नाक कटवाएगा जीतू भैया के सामने।
Amazing.
अरे इंजीनियर, आधा काम तो नेचर ने कर दिया है। पानी में नमक है तो बस उसमें चीनी और नींबू डाल, शिकंजी रेडी। ये छोटा सा फंडा हर साल 1 करोड़ बच्चों की जान बचाता है।
सही है यार,
है ना? चल अब 2 ग्लास बना दे।
3।
मम्मी यार, रोज तो उदय की गर्लफ्रेंड उसको इतना कॉल नहीं करती होगी जितना आप मुझे कॉल करते हो।
गो गो कम ऑन, बहुत बढ़िया भाई, बहुत बढ़िया। आईआईटी की कसम तुझे।
अरे टेस्ट क्या वनडे फॉलो नहीं होता है? मैं कहता हूँ ये जो T20 फॉर्मेट है ना, कोटा स्टूडेंट्स के लिए बनाया गया। आईपीएल ही फ्यूचर है। बस यार वो युवराज को नहीं खिलाते ना, बहुत गलत करता हूँ।
भैया सही कह रहे हो, सब पॉलिटिक्स है।
Oh, he's happy though.
भैया यू वी कैन एंड यू वी विल।
हाँ भैया, युवराज वापस आएगा, लिख के लेना।
तुम?
हाँ आएगा।
तो बच्चों, आज हम लोग एक सिंपल मोमेंटम थ्योरम पे बेस्ड प्रॉब्लम करने वाले हैं। इसमें हम लोग सिंपल कैलकुलेट करना।
आज ही नहीं हुई।
नहीं ना, दिस इज रियली इनअप्रोप्रिएट।
हैप्पी फॉर यू।
चल यार।
तो बच्चों, आज हम लोग एक फ्रिक्शन का प्रॉब्लम करने वाले हैं। इसमें हमें जैसा प्रॉब्लम में आप देख पा रहे हो, 2 ब्लॉक गिवन है। दोनों के दोनों ब्लॉक लाइन पे रखे हुए हैं और दोनों को एक स्ट्रिंग की हेल्प से कनेक्ट किया हुआ है, जो कि पुली के ऊपर से पास होती है। एक ब्लॉक का मास स्मॉल एम है, दूसरे का मास 2 किलोग्राम
चलें?
अब हमें यहाँ पे फाइंड करना
6:30 बज गए।
स्मॉल एम की मैक्सिमम एंड मिनिमम वैल्यू। चल
तो सब दिया ही हुआ था, वो तो करवाया भी था क्लास में, नहीं? लेकिन गुड, आज डीपीपी शीट्स सब करके लाया। सिटिंग बढ़ गई मतलब भाई साहब।
जी सर।
और खाना पानी सब सॉर्टेड? हाँ भैया। लैट्रिन हो रही है ठीक से? हाँ भैया। बे चल, मुझसे क्या शर्मा रहा है? मैं तो तुम्हारी एग्नी आंट हूँ ना। और अपना तो लंबा सफर है साथ में। ये सब प्रॉब्लम तो सबकी है, मुझे होती। फिजिकल केमिस्ट्री कर रहे हो? एक सेकंड। हाँ एक सेकंड। अबे अब जब कोई तलब नहीं है, सिचुएशन कंट्रोल में है, तो तू कभी कभी चीट कर सकता है।
Kim side eye.
कभी कभी चीटिंग चलती है, बस आदत नहीं बननी चाहिए।
I feel like that's gonna come back.
Yeah. I know. You're like super high integrity and now it's kind of iffy. Uh-oh.
क्या हो
Means
गया?
he's
बताओ।
human too.
विज्ञान नगर चलोगे क्या? भैया चलो, मैं मिलता हूँ। क्या हो गया?
Does smoking really do that?
I
don't
I haven't ever had.
टट्टी आ गई?
हाँ।
नहीं ना, आ जाओ।
अरे 5 ही बजे।
अरे चल, अबे चल, हर बार का एक ही। चल।
अरे तू एक पैरा बस पढ़ना था भाई।
क्या कर लेगा एक पैरा पढ़ के?
ओए
वो जीतू भैया ने कही है, कभी कभी चीटिंग चलती है, बस आदत नहीं बनने देनी चाहिए।
Is he finally sleeping?
Yeah.
And there's fireworks going on outside.
Oh, Mom. Oh, he's gonna sleep through it though. He might sleep through it.
It's so late.
Nice. I mean, not nice.
You need a
Wow.
hobby, lady. Gosh.
Like just slightly better boundaries. Call a little earlier.
Right?
फोन नहीं उठा रहा है।
Oh, that's her way of knowing.
अब इसका मन लग गया।
Because Mummy knows.
Yeah, it's an intuition. Aww.
That was super cute.
We need to clear a couple things up before we
Okay.
talk about this our review. So, first and foremost, you don't sit on the toilet for a long time because that's really bad for you. You get hemorrhoids that way.
Listen to Agony Aunt Jaby koay, who's going to tell you some truth.
I don't know about the smoking, but I know like warm water, like hot water, or even like if it's not late, caffeine will help move the system along. Sitting for a long time and studying, it's like, I don't necessarily agree with that. I feel like it's better for your brain and your body overall to like go hard for 20 minutes, get up, take a quick walk around, get your juices flowing, then come back and do it again. But sitting and not moving for a long time, I feel like can be very detrimental to your health, your physiology, your mental health. I feel like it's so much better to get up, move around, come back to it. When I was working at the one corporate job that I did, which was Yahoo, they actually encouraged us. We encourage you guys to get up, walk around, and come back. And I was like, I don't understand why. And I'm like, I didn't get that at the time. I get it now because it's just so much healthier for your body to get up and move.
Because you're a whole system. It's not just like
Yeah.
the head.
Yeah.
The human body was not meant to just sit in the same spot for hours on end, unless you're at rest in between running from a saber-toothed tiger. Like, you know what I'm saying? The idea is you're supposed to keep moving. We're nomadic by nature, so that's my 2 cents on that whole thing. I'm glad they introduced the thing at the end with him smoking, though, because the idea that every now and then it's okay to cheat a little bit is fine.
If you have self-awareness. I think
Yeah.
that's the thing that's kind of like the lesson of everybody going to school and starting a discipline like this.
I don't have self-awareness, so I just don't cheat. Like, I just like, nope.
Which is good self-awareness,
Right,
though,
yeah.
ironically.
As you know, I completely gave up beef. I don't ever have a cheat day with beef. I just don't touch it, ever. I just don't mess around with it. Now Jolie eats my beef.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, that does.
Well, no, we went to eat.
That sounds just terrible, though.
I'm genuinely, you have a dirty mind.
He meant like barbecue, yeah.
I was being innocent. And Char eats my beef too.
Oh God.
I don't eat hamburgers anymore. But the thing about the habit, I believe there is some truth to that because that seems to be something that everyone collectively agrees on. I haven't fully implemented it myself. I have,
but the 21 days thing?
Yeah, I did, but not on purpose. Like I was doing intermittent fasting, I was doing certain diets, I was doing exercises like every single day, and it just so happened I crossed that 21-day threshold. It wasn't deliberate. It was just something I was focused in on. It just was easy to keep that habit. Once you break that habit, it's hard to get back on the habit again.
Yeah, but it just takes 21 days.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of mental fortitude, but I like that they present that information here because there's a lot of gems that they're dropping.
Yes.
But there's also some misinformation being dropped. I'm like, hold on. Like, with the poops, you're going to create problems. You know?
You know what I liked about this was when G2 dropped that gem. I think as millennials, we've been often told like, oh, you're special, you know, we're all unique. And he's like, no, that's BS. You think you're the only one going through that stuff.
Right,
everyone's
your suffering is not greater than everybody else's.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's so true. Like, stop being a baby.
Right.
You're here now. Suck it up and move on.
Right,
you know?
like this is the human experience.
Yeah.
We all have to go through this stuff.
I've wondered where that comes from, that idea of I'm special or my child is special, and I think it has a lot to do with evolution and survival, because we have our own narrative as to how things look. We construct things in our own story the way we look at it, because from our perspective, we are special because that encourages us to survive and not just commit suicide and just flip tables and jump off a cliff. So we are able to then pass on our genetic line, our genes and whatever, and we're less inclined to eat our children if we think they're special, right? You know what I'm saying?
Or that they're just really cute.
Or like we're less inclined to abandon them as well if we think they're special and we got to protect them and whatnot.
Right.
I feel like there's something coded in there, and that's why we hold on to that. But we do need to like take a step back and recognize that what that programming is from like a million years of evolution. We have to recognize that because we do hold on to that. Oh no, my child's special. I'm special.
Right.
It's like I'm above that. And it's like no, you're not.
No, you're not.
It's like that fine balance. I think everything like human existence is kind of like this paradox, and nothing is true 100% of the time, but it's you got to find that swing that is actually helpful for you. Yeah, sometimes if you're really insecure, maybe you do need to realize that you are special and there's something really redeeming and, you know, very valuable about you. But then it's like if you are just like sitting in and like blowing up what you're going through, it doesn't help to add more of that. What actually helps is to go, hey, you're not alone. You can learn from other people too. Other people are going through this, so you gotta figure out what the right remedy is too. You have a good point. Like I think that's also relevant, but like maybe in his case that was the right medicine for him to hear to be effective.
Nobody's special, not even Jaby. No one's special.
It's just that feeling of entitlement where you're like, oh no, I can't eat this food because it doesn't taste good. It's not my mom's cooking, and it's this, that, and the other. And sometimes you just have to be like, well,
that was another thing. Okay, so like I get it, you got what you got, but a good diet is important. Like eating
yeah, that's true too. You
meals.
don't just like crap and like imagine we got like Cheetos and stuff and like waffles and that's all you had at like school.
That was my high school diet actually.
Really?
Yeah, I had cherry Coke and spicy Doritos. That was my lunch every day. So because we didn't have a lot of money, so that was my way.
Make do, yeah.
My mom would give me a certain amount of lunch money. I'm like, all right, cool. I would spend like
you would make great decisions with that money.
I would spend $2 on the Coke and chips, and that's all I ate. And I'd save that other money so I could buy video games or something.
Oh my gosh, that's like what my little sister used to do. She would just basically starve herself at school, eat like the cheapest thing, and just save her pocket money.
It's good planning ahead in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
There's this old Louis C.K. bit where he talks about how people hate Verizon, right? Like they just hate their cellular service. He's emphasizing how we have this cool technology and you're sending a text message and people get impatient with it. And it's like this text message that no one ever needed to hear. You're getting mad at your phone. It's going all the way up to space and back and you're feeling so entitled. But like what stood out to me in that bit was when he said the text that no one needed to hear. This message that you're creating that no one really, it's not that important.
Relevant, it's not helpful.
Yeah, it's not changing reality. It's not life-saving or life-changing at all. Just like calm down. You're not that important. And if you ever want to be like really illustrated how unimportant you are, just look at a space video where they show you the size comparisons of Earth compared to like Beetlejuice. And you're like, wow, Earth is really small and I'm on Earth and I'm really small on Earth. Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, it really puts things in perspective. I appreciate that. Anyway, enough of the philosophy about the episode. How'd you feel about the episode?
I thought it was nice. So with the first episode, we get this sense of the struggle to even get there and all of the conflict and hard work that's going to have to happen. Right. And then now it's like, okay, you're there, but you have to
grind it out.
Yeah, like just get used to it. It's a new environment. Like I remember going to college for the first time. I was 17 years old and like this was my first experience living alone, and it's weird and scary and things aren't what you're used to. I totally understand the mom situation because it's the same. My mom was all like, "Hey, how's it going? What's going on? How are you?" You know? Mm-hmm. And you're just like, okay, I'm just trying to live my life, Mom. You know, but I think this mom was sweet though. She was really cool. Like you said, like she ultimately knew something was up. And then when he finally didn't answer the phone, she was like, I feel good now. Like he's settled, you know? And
she like knows him so well that she knows that he's not gonna like say that he's suffering.
Yeah.
But she was like, I know how to read you though.
She's cool. I liked her.
Yeah, she's really sweet. Not push. She could have been way pushier, and she wasn't. It was actually a very loving way to do it.
He's all like, why do you keep asking me the same question? I'm fine.
That's interesting. What? I'm just not used to that from my mom. It was my dad who would call me all the time. My mom didn't ever call me. Unless she would.
She's like, later.
She'll come by. Bye. She'll come by and give me bananas, but she won't like.
Hey, my mom gives me orange spray cleaner every time she sees me, and I'm like, thanks.
Yeah, I feel like a lot.
Go wipe the windows.
Maybe Indian moms are different from other Asian moms, but like, or Thai moms. Your mom does she check on you a lot? My mom doesn't ever check on me. She's like, he's fine. He's fine.
I mean, nowadays, not so much. Like both my parents will, but they kind of give me my space. Right. But every now and then they'll be like, hey, what's going on?
The only time I remember my mom calling me was because I had a lot of grown-up friends when I was a kid. And so I would hang out with them, and there was one evening, I was like 15, and I was out late, and I just didn't come home. Oh. I told her where I was, but I just didn't come home because I was like, well, she knows where I'm at. It's fine.
No big deal.
That's not fine.
No one cares. And she calls me up at 1 a.m. She goes, who the fuck do you think you are? Get home now. I'm like, oh my God, all right.
She was like really trusting that you weren't dead. She was like, wow.
Yeah. She's hardcore when she wants to be. It's like, it's random. I don't know. My mom's a very interesting character. Looking at her, you wouldn't think that she's got this fiery attitude, but she does.
She does.
So
Wow. Well, you just don't do that. You just don't go and spend the night somewhere without telling your mom.
yeah.
That's not cool.
Yeah, well, it's fine. I turned out all right. So, at least by my standards. According to me. Okay, how'd you feel about the episode?
I think it was one of those episodes where his reality check, I think it was kind of like, you know, the first episode was like this big hero's journey and you get this like big win and you're all like, even just as an audience, you're just celebrating. And then this one is like the reality of it. You're like, oh yeah, I just gotta grind through it. You get there and every day is not gonna be like this big kind of like shiny moment. It's, all right, here's the discipline. Here's where the grit comes in. If you want to be successful. So
My
nicely done.
My favorite part of the episode is when he finally met up with his friend. And you saw the reality of it.
Oh, God.
Because
That's right, I forgot about that.
yeah,
That's right.
Because it always takes you back to that kind of Instagram like perspective of things.
Yeah.
Of
Right.
like you're seeing a curated version of people's lives, especially professional Instagrammers who have this stock thing they pepper out every single day. Like,
Right.
I don't know how to do that. I'm not good at it. And so just my Instagram, just random stuff shows up sometimes. My point is that it creates this perspective of, wow, that person's life is so wonderful. I wish I had that.
24/7, yeah.
Yeah.
24/7.
You're just always on vacation, always skiing and surfing and going to the gym. Like, you've got such a life. And it's like the reality is probably they're just at home with their dog.
Yeah.
You know, not doing
Trying
much.
to convince themselves they should go to the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
well, I
I
was
feel like
literally looking at something just the other day on Instagram, and it was someone who, you know, has a whole feed of nice stuff. And she was like, I just want you to know that sometimes, because she does food stuff, and she's like, this is what goes out on Instagram. It's like the perfect plate. She's like, in reality, it looks like this. So I just want to remind you guys that what you're seeing on Instagram is a highlight reel. It is not real life.
Yes, of everybody's life.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that we still kind of do that, right? Because it's like when it's done in like the psychology, this like whole social media thing is on such a level. Why are we so invested in that? Because it kind of feels like a quick hit, a quick high, but kind of like, you know, you get to a certain age, you kind of know everyone wants like a deeper thing, right? Like, isn't having the connection of like
I feel
letting
like
down some of the guard, even if you can pepper in some of like the really nice highlights because it's inspiring sometimes. But to like lose the depth of connection you get from having things be real thrown in there too, I almost feel like that's more valuable.
That's a very deep conversation.
Right. Yeah. Maybe not.
I don't know if I'm ready to give an answer to that, but it does tie into this in that you're always trying to maintain face. You're trying to save face. You're trying to like keep an image. Like he said in the episode, like these two girls they knew came into his home.
Yeah.
And so he's
couldn't admit
like,
to the family.
well, I guess I have to just maintain this situation so that, you know, I keep up my appearance.
Like control whatever status he's getting from it.
Exactly. And not only that, but the girl's mother asked him like his date and time of birth, which means marriage.
That's true.
So,
there's a lot on the line.
Yeah. It's suddenly he's an eligible bachelor and
Yes.
he's never been one before.
Get
so-
married first, tell the truth later.
But then I think that's it's a perfect example because what then are we saying, at least in that instance, the reason, the motivation is out of fear.
Yeah.
It's not even out of like, this is what I want. No, it's, oh crap, I'm scared. I have to keep this facade up. Otherwise, I lose what I want.
There's this anecdote about this guy in China who married this woman and had a baby, and the baby was ugly, and he found out that his wife was ugly and had plastic surgery, and then he divorced her and sued her.
No!
False advertising.
False advertising.
Oh, that's brutal.
So, I don't know why. It just reminded
No,
me
it's
of that.
relevant. I don't know how to sum it up right, but
yeah,
it is
but
relevant.
like, it's like this idea of trying to keep up appearances. But like, it's cool when you finally break through that wall, because that's happened to me multiple times in life, where you find out what's actually going on with someone. I won't be specific in case they ever see this, but there's someone in my life who I got
Spill the tea.
who I got to spend time with them and see behind, you know, the wizard's curtain for a second.
Right.
The things I found out, I was like, whoa, this person is super troubled and has a lot of issues. And my whole life that I've known them, I thought that they were just like rock solid and had it together, because this person was like on a pedestal my whole life. And once I finally got to know them a little bit better, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Way more issues than I've got. And so this was a hero. There's a hero of mine. And that kind of eye-opening thing has happened to me multiple times. So that's why I really appreciated that moment where he finds out the reality of things and he's frustrated. There's an old weird saying. I forgot what it was. My friend probably told me the wrong one, but it's something called like run the Buddha over or something like that.
Oh, if you see a Buddha on the side of the road, if you see someone who says they're the Buddha on the side of the road and like kill them or whatever.
Yeah, it was some weird phrase like that.
Because like somebody who I guess who's like really enlightened isn't going to brag about that.
Yeah.
They're not going to claim that they're...
Yeah, it's something weird that just kind of stuck with me after watching Hustle and Flow. But the
Hustle and Flow.
idea being that like what you think it is often just not what it is. Especially when he's removed like that, because what's his name? Piyush was not like responding to his calls. Like you just don't know what's going on over there.
Right, exactly.
So anyway.
Well, I think it's interesting as well, like the two different facades of that. Because on the one hand, you've got Piyush who's pretending, right? He's all like, oh no, I can't tell anyone because I have all the status and blah, blah, blah. And on the other hand, you have G2 who's basically preaching the fake it till you make it philosophy, because he's like, I bragged to everyone that I quit smoking. And so I had to like follow through with that. So there's two different sides to that. So one, you can have the negative side where you're like trying to hide what's really going on inside, and you're like,
and you're not actually dealing with fixing what's going on inside, right? Yeah.
Or you can have the other one where you're like, I'm putting it out to the universe that I'm going to succeed at this thing.
And then you do the work.
Through.
And then you do the work.
I think it depends on fluidity. And what I mean by that is like him saying, I'm in this like scholastic program, whatever it is. Saying that is not going to change reality. And him buying the books is not going to suddenly grant him access to that situation. But him saying, I don't smoke anymore, there's something fluid there. That's a habit you can take.
Something he can take action around.
Yeah, it's something within the realm of fixing. And so a classic example of that is if someone asks you, how are you? You say, I'm excellent. And usually people's response is, why? Because everyone's fucking miserable. So you have to justify it. And when you express those reasons, you're suddenly creating a new reality and a new perspective for yourself of why you feel excellent. And so you're kind of lying at first, but then that lie becomes the reality as you continue to express these reasons of why you should feel excellent. Anyway. Enough of Guru Jaby here. Thank you, patrons, for supporting us on the Patreon here. You're all so wonderful. Thanks so much. You got beautiful faces, and your support's amazing and very, very valued here, especially by Jolie and Achara and the Jabs. Thanks so much. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
Jolie Robinson.
And
Achara Cook.
peace out.